Welcome back to another video. Today this is going to be a Photoshop tutorial. Again, as you may see, this channel we do all sorts of design, illustration, and Photoshop, Illustrator, and whatever. So we're going to be, this is a design channel, and maybe it will have vlogs and stuff, but today we're going to be covering an idea of face swapping. I came across it on a YouTube video, but it was really good. I think it was from PTC, the Photoshop channel PTC. Basically what it is, it's a face swapping tutorial. But some points that he mentioned, it's an amazing tutorial. He left out a few points though, but so those are just what I'm going to address. Apart from the rest, they're mostly the same approach. So here we're going to use two images. We're going to use this colored image and this image here. Now the idea of face swapping is to make to find a way of blending two shapes, two faces together. So you may see that this face here is colored and this one is white and black, right? So one of these has to be, we have to kind of match them together. So the first thing we're going to do is maybe put this one to colored, because we can't really colorize this one to really match up to the hue of this one. So the easiest part we can do is to just first of all just come over here down. Okay, let's first duplicate this layer by Ctrl J on your keyboard. Turn off this down layer here, and then come down here and just add a black and white adjustment layer. That's all. You're not going to do anything much, just going to add an adjustment layer, because what you want is for it to kind of have the same the same levels as this one. Let me just say that, right? So here we're not going to tweak much. We're just going to select both of them and click Ctrl E on your keyboard, and that will merge the two layers, right? So here we have this merged layer, and it's the one we're going to use. Next, you're going to now bring up your lasso tool. That's L on your keyboard, or you just come over here and you have the lasso tool right there, and you're going to come over and just simply move over like this. You're going to make a selection. Now make a selection in which you feel it's right. If you feel like you need to add something, just press Shift while still on the lasso tool, and then drag over. You just make over the area you want to add, right? So let's say we want to add like that area there, right? So this area. And if you need to remove something, you just circle over whatever you want to remove, like that, okay? And then we add again, just like that. So whatever you want, if you want to add, you just click Shift and add, and if you want to subtract, you just click Alt on your keyboard and you'll be able to subtract. Okay, so Alt on your keyboard, it brings up that minus sign. So once that is done, now what you're going to do is click Ctrl J, and that will duplicate the layer. Alright, so this layer that has been selected is going to be duplicated, and now what we want to do is to bring it over to this layer. Now the reason why I'm doing it like this, or I'm choosing it to come from here, because this one is a larger image and this one is a much smaller image. So which means that if in case I'm trying to bring a larger image and I'm trying to distort it to make it smaller, it's not going to be blurry and lose detail. Whereas if I'm to swap this one and put it over onto a larger image, I'm going to have to increase its size, which may lose detail. All right, so what we don't want is to lose detail, so we want to preserve as much detail as we want. So with this layer selected here, press V on your keyboard, or just come over here, select that selection tool, and then just drag over to this tab, and then bring here and release the drag, and then it will essentially be there. Now you have a very big face. Okay, now with that having been selected, now what you want to do is let's first of all duplicate this layer and turn off this one. Now here with this one selected, you're going to just decrease its opacity just a little bit, and you're going to try to align it together. Okay, so you're going to just try to bring it, you see that tilde, right? The tilde dot right there, it's what you're going to try to align the tildes of both eyes. So you can take as much time as you want. You can see that these ones are not in the same place, so don't worry about that, you can always change it. And now you're going to press Ctrl T on your keyboard, click Alt and bring it there. Okay, press Alt and click here where you need the point, and it will be there. So basically what this is going to do, if you're scaling this image, it's going to be scaled from this point. Okay, so, and the way to scale it from that point, you just press Shift and Alt together, Alt, Shift, Alt together, and drag at the same time. Okay, so like that. So it will be scaling from that point right there. Now as you can see, I've scaled it down a little bit, but now this face is not still proper, so I can tilt it again a little bit. So press Z. I'm going to just rotate it a bit, just like that. Okay, so what I want is to align this image to be as close to the to the best one as possible. That's what I'm trying to do. And again, I'll drag this in a little bit, just like that. Okay, now when you're happy with maybe what you've done, just click yes here like this, and bring back this opacity to 100. Okay, so here you have an opacity to 100, and now what you essentially have is this so far. Now you can see that both these colors, and even though they are black and white, this one has a higher luminance value than this one. Now what we want to do is to first of all fix that issue. Now with that selected, just click Ctrl on your keyboard and click on that layer so that you select it, right? And then go to Image Adjustments, and you're going to just match the color of the background image and the foreground image. Okay, so what you'll have to do here, just come over here to where it says source, and now our source is this image that it's called a young woman. It's the image that you're working with, so you just select young woman, and the layer that we want is a background layer, so the background copy, in other words. Okay, so the background copy. Now as soon as you do that, you realize now it has matched both colors perfectly. Okay, so if you want, you can adjust the fade. Okay, don't do it too much. You can adjust the fade just a little if you realize that the values are too much, but here it's not really much, so you can just click OK. Now essentially what we have is this so far. All right, now the next part we're going to do is to try and blend both of them. You contract this the cutout. The way you do that, with it still selected, you come to select and then modify and contract. Now you can contract it by a few pixels. You can use 5 pixels, and once you do that, you realize that now, let me zoom in very quickly. You realize now that that part, you may see now that part there is not the line is now inside, right? Okay, so you see very clearly now how it is. Okay, so with that having been done, you're now going to with the contraction having been done, you're going to now move to the background layer, right? And you're going to just press delete. Once you press delete, it's going to delete this selection but of the background layer, because it's the layer that you selected. Hope that makes sense. If you don't do that, then you'll have a space between both layers, which will be terrible. Right? So with that having been done, now you can deselect both of them. Now you're going to do what's called a blend. All right, so they're blending both of them. So just select both of them by control click on both of them, and once they're selected, you want to go, if you have, obviously if you're using Photoshop CS6 and above, or CS5 maybe also, you're going to have this option where you go to edit, auto blend layers, and then it's going to bring this area. So in versions, maybe in CC, Photoshop CC, you'll have seamless tones and colors, and then you'll have another option here where it says content aware fill or something like that. But whichever version you use, if you have this, just make sure both of them are selected and click OK. Now it will do the matching very quickly, and there you'll have it. Now you see that this one is, it's been done perfectly. Okay, so this is pretty much what you'll do. Now when you group these layers and turn on this one, for example, you'll see now you have two values. Okay, but you will see that shift in color whenever you try to let me do this. Whenever you try to change, you see that there is that tilt in color, right? So what we're going to do about that, we're going to create a mask. All right, so on this, with the group layer selected, make sure you click Alt and then the mask at the same time, so that it creates a black layer over. Okay, and then go get your brush tool. So get your brush tool here. So that's like B on your keyboard. I mostly use that, and then you're going to just select the parts that you want. So what you're going to do is just working over it like this. So this area is black and this area here is white, because white reveals and black hides. Okay, and you're going to just do this, just shade over it like that. Okay. This looks funny, but anyway, just make sure you do a good job, right? So with the mask layer there, just like that. There are a few things that I wanted to address, but I don't see how I can do it now. Anyway, now you can see the, like, so with the layer, now you can see, you no longer see those values which are flashing in your face. Okay, now the other part, we can try to make fine adjustments. Now you will see maybe like there is a subtle change in color here. So the way you can do, if you see that maybe this shape is, this part may be blurry and this one is not, so again you just move over here to the blur tool and just brush over a little bit, just once, don't do it too much, just so that because this face looks sharp, whereas the background face doesn't look that much sharp. So blurring this one a little bit will help. And now if you look closely, you'll see that there is a patch right there. There is a patch like there. If you have like a lining, for example, a lining left from those marks that you made or from the cutout, come over to the spot healing brush tool and then just click once, just click once like that, just a little bit, okay, and it will help remove any terrible linings that may not be perfect for your image. All right, so when you're comfortable with what you have done now, here you will have essentially done your first swap. Okay, so you can try this with as many images as you want. Ideally, you want to have an image which is for me this time I've used, let me delete this layer, I don't need it now, but ideally I've used this image where I know both of them are looking at the camera and not away from the camera, and their faces are kind of like straight in front of the camera. That's why it worked a little bit better. But you want to also find images, if maybe there is hair that is within, you can find ways of, like, there are very many tools here that you can use. So try to experiment here. I've just tried to show you that it's possible. You can blend the colored images with the black and white images as well. So there is nothing that's not, everything is virtually possible here. You just have to experiment, right? So I'm going to leave the tutorial at this. If you liked it, please share, leave a like, and also I'll leave that video to the Photoshop training course, I think, in the description below, so that you check it out. He also does some very, very good explanation of how he did this, and maybe I'll hear from you soon. Okay, take care, bye.